What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with a little bit different video. Now, if you're free to play, this is probably not the video for you. That said, if you guys have been paying attention, and I'll be real, I hadn't, thank you guys for pointing this out to me on the stream tonight. If we go into Guild and we go into the time-limited events, there's an event here to S-clear all of the EX Reminiscence, and you get a 4-star ticket. Looks like a 4-star 11 draw, no less. Now, that sounds like a hefty undertaking. And it is. No doubt about it. It absolutely is. But, thanks to you guys tonight on the stream, we came up with a team, and I've almost finalized all of these. This team has absolutely been able to handle it. A team that pretty much can take care of itself. Now, I'm going to go back out here. I'm not going to jump in because I'm going to make one quick modification to this team. Okay? This team has absolutely handled this event to a T. It is pretty much just a dark team. I am going to swap this Hestia out for the AoE Hestia. And yes, like I said, this is very much a whale team. It's got max limit broken Goblin Slayer, max limit broken Otaro, max limit broken Ryu, and max limit broken Haruhime. We're using Line and Elmina as our sacks. And of course, we just swapped it out to the AoE Hestia because we do have 3 foes. I did find that the missions that have 2 foes and less, I use the single target Hestia. She seems to work better, and we target each unit individually, taking them out with an AoE special attack. Unless it's a single target, then we special attack with Goblin Slayer. Pretty straightforward stuff. Like, it's a tactic that has worked on every single one of these so far. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk about it real quick. Now, because there are 3 foes here, we are going to be using basically AoE attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and do Command Lead. I'm going to go ahead and do Otaro's main buff. And the main reason I'm going to do that, well, I won't need to do that. I'll just do his AoE. His AoE buffs himself. There are situations where sometimes in some of these fights, they do some debuffing or things like that. If you're AoE, Otaro handles that. The only time that's no fun is when they're debuffing and it's single target attacks. That gets slightly annoying. Very slightly annoying, but slightly annoying. Okay? The nice part is Elmina does increase our AoE damage. In the fights where there's single targets, I found Elmina still works. She's not the best, but she still seems to get the job done. If you get stuck, you can actually swap Elmina out with someone that does a little bit more debuffing. But literally, I've modified this team in only one way for those single target fights. And in fact, most of the single target fights, I didn't even do that and I wrecked it. But if I change out the AoE Hestia assist to the single target Hestia assist, it seems to do absolute wonders. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and buff Ryu. There we go. Now, the number one problem here is all of that healing. The healing becomes a major headache. But I'm going to just basically try to overpower it by doing an SA here with Haruhime and doing main AoE attacks with basically all of our units. Now, I believe it's Eyes that's actually doing the healing, so we're going to focus on her and just kind of try to take her down. Alright. Now, one headache with this particular fight, this first fight, Mikoto does nullify physical attacks, so this is not the most effective team here. Let's just be real about that right up front. This team could be a lot more effective. But this team has done a very respectable job of wiping them out. Now, I have debuffed Fire down 45%. Naturally, their defenses are down 40% to Thunder. So if you have a really good Thunder team, you can take this out. We talked about this a few days ago. Alright, so Haruhime is going to do that. We're just going to continue basically spamming these attacks. It's just basically going to be a relentless onslaught of these AoE attacks going forward. Now you can see they're not as effective yet, because of all that healing. Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to move around with Goblin Slayer. Since Goblin Slayer is a single target attack unit, I do like to kind of change who he's focusing on every once in a while, so we're getting nice, even spreads of damage. I probably didn't move him around nearly as much as I needed to, but we'll see what happens here. Okay? So you see I'm just kind of attacking. I won't say indiscriminately, but we're attacking. And it is worth noting that they have a decent amount of physical resistance. They have a decent amount of healing. So, you know, the attacks are only so effective. Let's go ahead and do that and that. So on this run, I don't think I'm going to actually beat it. Otaro would have to do insane things here for this to actually be a thing. Get it? Nah, we're not going to. Unfortunately, this is not a successful S-clear. Basically, we're going to have to nullify all of those attacks for this to really work the way I want it to work. Bam. So honestly, I could probably go in here and just do an S-clear and, or say an S-clear, but grab somebody who does a decent amount of, you know, buff removal, like a Winter Haruhime or someone like that is really going to be necessary for this run, unfortunately. But this will not be a successful S-clear, sadly. So this team, unfortunately, this is kind of their one shortcoming. Like, this is the one situation where they're just, unfortunately, slightly outclassed. I can't out-damage their nullifiers. So we're going to have to come up with some kind of situation that's going to do this. Now, what's really interesting here, if you're looking to S-clear this, you don't necessarily need to do it without losing a member. You could all you got to do at this point is beat it within 9 turns. So you can do a really sloppy run. Remember, the S-clear is cumulative. Not all of it has to be done in one run. So long as I just come in here with a Thunder team and just, you know, crash into them as hard as humanly possible, then if I beat it within 9 turns, now I've got my S-clear. You don't have to do all 3, you know, clearing without losing a member, and within 9 turns all in one run. So boss 1-5 is the interesting one here. So unfortunately, that is not as effective against this team, but all the rest of these I've absolutely dominated with this team. Let's go ahead and change this to the single target Hestia. I am going to have to come back to 1-1 and kind of reassess it. And I think, honestly, it's going to come down to just using my my Thunder team. But same team here. I'm going to go ahead and do the buff with Otaro, Akane, and Spotlight. So with the single target Hestia, what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to go and use single target attacks against all of these units. That is that situation where I said Elmina might not be the most effective, but whatever, she's here, we're going to use her. Alright. So, basically, we're doing just the same thing here. Nothing new, nothing different. The only exception is after turn 3, we're going to start going back and forth. I'm going to hit now. Instead of Aisha, I'm going to go hit Ryu. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and do her AoE, and I'm going to do the special arts with Haruhime. And then on turn 5, I'm going to go back. So on even runs, I'm going to hit Aisha. On odd runs, I'm going to hit Ryu. So here we go. And these are the two that I've had the most issues with this team. Literally every other event, we've utterly destroyed with this team. And as I said before, sometimes with this event, with the single target attacks, we literally just use the same team with that AoE Hestia and Elmina, and it doesn't matter. They hit so hard single target that they utterly laugh at it. Now, here, the one thing you do have to be aware of is they will remove strength buffs. So if I go down here, see, Otarl's strength buff is gone. So I need to actually go back here and rebuff. Magic buffs don't go away, so we don't have to worry about that. And the nice part is, if nothing else, Goblin Slayer does his own strength buff, so it's really not the end of the world. But you do definitely need to go in here and rebuff. Now, from this point on, I can just do an AoE with Otarl, and I should be fine. And once again, remember, the goal here, anyway, is very simply to wipe it out here in the next turn. Though, I might not have hit them quite hard enough to make that happen. We will see. Alright, so turn 9, we're going to do a SA once again with Otarl and then with Ryu. Yes, I have kind of ignored Haruhime because the goal is to end this in this turn. If I don't, it is what it is. Ooh, nice. But I don't think we quite have it. That's the unfortunate part. I really feel like Ryu is going to survive this. Unless we get really lucky with the counters, Ryu is most certainly going to survive this. Nah. So there we go. Once again, unfortunately, these two are the ones that I've had the biggest issues with. So turn 10, they're done. So literally just means I've got to put a tiny bit more damage out there. But, as I said before, every other single one we got to do that with. Just do a, on these ones I've just got to do a slight modification. Not really that big of a deal. So, what I'm going to do here, let's go ahead and drop an item on this. I'm going to go in here and, I've just basically now got to find a unit that will allow me to do a little bit more damage. We've already got a dark debuff. We've already got main buffs for our units. It's going to be a tough call. It's going to be a slightly tough call. But neither here nor there. Really wish there was a better answer for this. And it is kind of that situation where it's just like, I just need one more attack that can eke out that little bit of damage. I'm going to mess around with this a little bit more and just kind of see what kind of numbers I can produce. But, like I said, it's just these last two. And then we've got guild, time limited, 4 days left. 4 days left to complete that. So if you can build this team or a team similar to it, then you'll be able to destroy this event. The reason I say dark, because I have yet to find one of these events that has an absolute strength basically against the dark team. And as I said, these are the only two that seem to have any kind of real, I say, deficit thus far. So I'm going to go kind of probably take a Thunder team in there, see if we can do a little bit more on that first one, and we'll kind of play around a little bit more. But for now, that is going to be the video, guys. Make sure, if you can at all possible, create a team like that, and at least go S-clear it, or do something close. It's kind of a pretty straightforward situation, and once again, I do need to come back, and I need to come back with a more free-to-play friendly way to finish these last couple. It's just that it's a really, really, really tough call. 1-7, 1-8, and 1-9 really have proven difficult to produce free-to-play teams for, but I will continue trying to bring those videos to you guys, and we'll hopefully have those teams for you here in the next 24 hours. So, for now, guys, like, comment, share. I'll be back at you guys with more Danmachi.